All right. Well, welcome to episode 4 of Hyped for Hoops. First question I'm going to ask everyone is this is just kind of coming off the news about what Kyle Lowry said that no matter what, he's going to retire as a Raptor. Whether that's, down the road and he's going to sign a 1 day contract so he can retire as a Raptor. But obviously, his jersey will be 1 day hanging in the Raptors of, I guess, what is it called now? The Scotiabank Arena. So I'm just wondering, for you guys, try to think of at least 3 other jerseys that deserve to be retired as for the Raptors, and I want you to kind of think outside the box. There's some obvious ones, but if you can,
I'll go first.
yeah,
None of
go for
them.
it.
None of them. No Raptor player is deserving of having their jersey retired as a Raptor. Kyle Lowry is the exception. I would not give that to anyone else. I just don't think like you can name Vince Carter, you can name Chris Bosh, like all these guys decided to leave the organization just when they were in their prime, right? So in terms of like dedication, Kyle Lowry gets it, and what he has done for the Raptors, but no one else has taken this team this deep into the playoffs, won a championship. Yeah, I just don't see any other player that has done this. And you have to look at other teams and who they have retired, right? Like there's some great names that they've put they've retired, but none of these Raptors meet those expectations or yeah, I would not give it to anyone else. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not
All
going to
good,
shit on
man.
you guys
Yeah,
for having a
honestly,
player.
yeah, I was thinking of some, but after hearing Jay Sean speak, I'm just like, you know what? He actually makes a valid point there. Like, I'd probably throw Kyle Lowry for sure, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I'm thinking maybe Demar, like a close second, maybe because he wanted to be here and he put the city on his on his back basically, and represented all the time. And even that Kawhi Leonard, I can't see him. I mean, he's only been here. He was only here a year.
Mm-hmm.
He won us that championship, helped us. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, probably just to be honest, Kyle Lowry. But if I had to pick another like 3 guys or another 2 guys, I guess including Kyle Lowry, probably Demar and man, I maybe Vince, like because he was, but at the same time, Jay Sean made a great point, But yeah, I'd probably go with those 3, probably. Yeah. Or you know what? Fuck, throw up my man JYD up on there, number 13, man. Yeah.
Yeah, why not, right? But the other thing is like I know this isn't the Raptors franchise, but because it's the same ownership group, it works in the same light. The Maple Leafs have never retired a number. Um, Maybe the Raptors will take the same approach and just honor the numbers, right? Although number 7 will be wonderful. We'll have both Keon Clark and Kyle Lowry. So,
yeah.
Bargnani was 7 too, wasn't
and Andrea,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It'll be a number worth celebrating. That and then 15 with what's his name? Garbosa?
Barbosa, Amir Johnson. Who else?
Yeah, some wonderful players at that number. And then we can also retire 00 for Eric Montrose. Nobody should ever get to wear that number again. That was such an ugly number.
What was Araujo, number 8? Oh,
8,
Nice.
Calderon, man.
Yeah.
Calderon had 8, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Calderon, yeah.
Shit.
Yogi Stewart had what? 4, I think.
I want to say
Maybe we
4.
should retire that one too. Just for, to get all the shit numbers out of the way.
Yeah, no, I feel like DeMar, if he has a second stint with the Raptors, I could see that like not being a question.
Mhm.
If he just somehow made his way back, even if it was for a season or something, because he obviously has a lot of love for the city and he wanted to be here. I think it's just tough though too, just because the Raptors' history is so short, and it's really hard to be like, okay, in the first, well, I guess like 20 years right now, 25 years, how many people have actually made an impact? And the list isn't going to be that long just because there haven't been that many significant events for the Raptors. And I think if you just look at it another perspective, not in the sense of what they necessarily did for winning, but what they did maybe for the community and for the franchise, then I think you can open up a little bit more. Like, yeah, I think someone like Vince could be considered in that sense, just because he really put basketball on the map, like the Toronto franchise on the map, and thinking about people like Jerome Williams, who was part of the community afterwards, and someone like even like Alvin Williams, he's still working with the franchise and that kind of thing. All right, so I asked you all to watch the train wreck that was
Jesus Christ,
the NBA dunk contest of 2021. Initial thoughts?
I think I get more excited for the 3-point shootout contest now. Even I even put the skills up there now. Like, I mean, oh my god! Like, honestly, okay, for everyone's first dunk, except the I don't know. I didn't like the whole like, dude, you're 6'3", like you should be touching the top of the backboard. If I was 6'3", with my jumping ability, like, dude, I'd be like freaking windmilling it like crazy, man. Like, just through the legs, man. I just first two dunks were good. Those should have been 9. Like, I thought they were pretty legit dunks. Judges, like, oh man, I don't know. These guys even dunk, man. Like Dominique Wilkins is up there. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. But I just think it's just washed now, man. It's just, I don't know what to say, man. Like, dunk contest used to be the only thing I used to look forward to more than the All-Star game during All-Star weekend, you know. But it's just, over the years, it's just like, what the hell's happening, man? You know? I don't know. That's my initial thoughts for now.
Okay, man.
Yeah, I think the dunk contest has its limitations, right? Like, you can only go so far with it. Every once in a while, you get a few really creative dunkers, and that's what the dunk contest needs. It needs creativity to do well. And if you don't have that creativity, it's just going to be boring. If you've seen a dunk before, you're not going to be impressed. I mean, it will take a lot to impress you if you've seen a dunk and then see it again. But that second time you see it, it better be like so much better, right? Like athleticism wise, like whatever. Yeah. So in terms of like the dunk competition, it needs the actual creativity to do well. And a lot of those players that are coming in, they don't have that creativity. They just take dunks from other people, and it's gonna make it boring. Like, look what Vince has done. He came in and he's done something that hasn't been done in the dunk contest before, right? And he didn't even plan to do these dunks. He just came in and just like he rolled with it. That's what I heard, at least. And some of these other players, like, creativity, that's the key. And these young guys, and that's another thing. It's always these young guys that come in that do these dunk competitions, right? I want to see some of the older guys come in too. It's not like they can't dunk, right? Like, some of these guys that have been here in the league for a while, they can come in and they can impress you. But why is the NBA just choosing these young players? Obviously, there's a reason for that, for marketing and marketing standpoint or whatever. But I think it should be open to a more variety of I don't know what you want to call it, experiences in the NBA, like players.
I think they pretty much jumped the shark when they had Blake Griffin come into the dunk competition, and it's just kind of gone downhill from there. So I don't know. I would be more impressed by Vince coming out of retirement to dunk and doing whatever the fuck he can than by what these kids did. Like,
100%.
You know, or Jordan coming out and just doing a dunk and going home. Like, I don't know. It would be Nate Robinson, I think, was more impressive than them. And that dunk where he just grabbed the ball off that object, that like small rim that they put on the board. It was just like, why did you think that this was a good idea?
Like, windmill that at least. Catch it and windmill.
Do something.
You know, catching it, just dunk it on a smaller, bigger rim. Like, oh my god, bro!
I jumped up and therefore have been going down ever since.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, he's 6'3", though. He's jumping." But like, I'm like, dude, like, if I was 6'3", if we were 6'3", like, we should be jumping that high, man. We should be jumping that high. That's just my opinion, but honestly,
yourself, I'm white. I can't jump that high.
Stefan, aren't you close to 6'3"? Aren't you at least 6'3"?
I'm closer to 6'4", but yes.
Okay.
Stefan, why aren't you doing windmills?
But that weight is gonna keep him down, man. It's the gravity shit. That weight's gonna keep him down.
But man, I do think we need to see like bigger names in this. Like,
Thank you, Gray. I was gonna get
like
to
when
that.
they were young, like Jason was saying, like Jordan was in it, fucking Kobe was in it, Vince Carter was in it. These are like top dogs in the league, you know, that we actually gave a shit about. These guys don't blame me like that. Don't get me wrong, their athletic ability is crazy. Like they jump out of the gym like plus 40 inches, all these guys, and crazy hoopers. But like as a fan, like and as a casual fan, like the casual fans, like, you kind of want to see the big names in there, you know. Duncan, and I think honestly, the whole Team Flight Brothers kind of ruined the dunk contest a little bit too. Like all those highlights and stuff. Like so, everyone's seen everything. Everything's on YouTube. But I mean, at least attempt one of those dunks, or maybe ask them. I don't know if those dunks are like patented or like copyrighted, or if they're allowed to perform those dunks in the dunk contest. But it would still be impressive to see like some of the stuff they do, like with what's it called, like that scorpion dunk. Like I mean, like you know, like I don't know, just yeah.
Yeah, I think Gray just hit the nail on the head for me. When after, so I'm just looking at the participants. So I guess after, I would actually like just say after Vince Carter, there aren't really big names entering the dunk contest. I guess you could argue Dwight Howard did enter when he was in his prime, and he was very good at that time. But other than that, in the last few years, I would argue that there are not any great players that are in it. I think the best player in the recent memory, like just like best player in just like in a basketball standpoint, was Donovan Mitchell. And this is not to take away from Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, who put on probably one of the best, if not the best, dunk
2016
competition.
in Toronto.
In Toronto. They're both amazing dunkers. I don't think they're the most amazing players, especially Zach LaVine's upped his game for sure. But even so, to the level of a Kobe, a Vince Carter, Michael Jordan, no, that those names are not there. And this started, and I'm not going to say it's his fault, but people like LeBron didn't do the dunk competition, and maybe that set the trend for players coming to the league who were the next big name, just to be like, I don't really care. Why the fuck is Zion not in the dunk contest this year?
Dude,
who would not want to see Zion in the dunk contest this year? Like this, that's just bullshit. It's just
100%.
The good or the big names don't want to do the dunk competition. It's that mentality. I don't know what it is. I don't think they care. I don't think it hurts your resume by saying I won the slam dunk competition, right? I don't want to be known as a dunker. Well, why don't you just put on a show for the fans? You know, like I don't know. That's kind of like
saying.
My thought.
Do it for the fans, man. No, you hit it. Do it for the fans. Like LeBron should have entered back then. I think Zion should have been in it. 100%, man. I don't know.
And also, sorry, no, go Jay.
Did you think some of these players would do well though in the dunk contest? Some of these dunkers are like they're in-game dunkers. They dunk on people. They do some crazy highlight dunks. But again, I go back to it's all about creativity in the dunk contest. You need athleticism, but you need that creativity to actually impress people. You're not dunking over people, or well, you could, but it's you know. In-game dunkers is very different from like a highlight dunker that just dunks in pre-game or warm-up dunker, so it's I don't know, would Zion do well? I think he could, yeah, for sure. LeBron, I don't see him being very creative with his dunks. He has like 2 or 3 go-to dunks that he does all the time. He doesn't have that that spark that Vince Carter has, that creativity that Vince has. So I'm not sure if some of these stars would actually do well. Maybe that's a reason why they don't want to enter in the first place. They have nothing. They have something to lose when they enter, right? It's their credibility, their superstardom of being a winner and going up against some of these guys that are really creative but shit basketball players might hurt them in the long. It might hurt their image. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, so Jordan Kilgannon. If you guys, if anybody not know, in my opinion, best dunker, great guy, super cool. But he essentially his idea is have these guys work with professional dunkers before the goddamn slam dunk contest, so they can show them, hey, do you want to try this? I can walk you through how to do this, rather than have them do like stupid shit where it's like, wow, you literally did something that has been done a million times. But Jordan actually pointed out a really interesting thing. I was talking to him about the slam dunk contest, and since he a pro dunker, he said, so what was the guy's name? Stanley. His first dunk was the bounce off the bounce between the legs. So he mentioned something really interesting that the judges didn't even notice. So he takes off on his left leg, but he puts it between his left leg. So he takes off on the left leg and puts it between his left leg and dunks with the left hand. Versus normally, if you take off on the left leg, you go between your right leg and come up with your right hand.
Because it's already up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like a weird way. It's like thinking about, when you want to do, even when you do a layup when you take off on the same foot and finish with the same hand, it feels weird relative to like do it the other way, right? So it's just like shit like that. Maybe even have those pro dunkers as one of the like 2 of the 4 judges or something like that, because they know the craft, they know what's difficult to do. That's a subtlety that I didn't see. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I don't think the judges noticed that as well.
Definitely not. And man, stuff like that. It was simple dunk, but it wasn't like some of these guys gave him like an 8 or 7 for that. That was like a straight 45, man. Like, I mean, yeah, we've seen it before, but I mean, now you mentioned the subtleties, man. That's definitely like a 45.
Yeah, that's way harder. And if you're dunking with your offhand, it actually makes a big difference, right?
100%.
All right. And I guess just throwing it out there, do you guys have any ideas on how to make the dunk contest better?
Yeah, but nobody's going to want to do it because everyone's going to get hurt. Put trampolines around the basket.
Like slam ball?
Slam ball. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think you said it. Spence. Like, get them working with some like pro dunkers. That one year they had like, I remember this. I think it was Daryl Dawkins. He was helping DeMar out, or
I remember Terrence Ross too. He got help from the Team Flight brothers, I believe.
Yeah. Justin Darlington was helping them out. So I think that's definitely something they need to do, and maybe get guys like Zion or whoever, like this bigger name guys in here that we know about. I mean. But at the same time, I mean, creativity. I think they just gotta like
exactly
just work on that
do
creativity,
something.
Man.
There's so many dunks that have not been seen by the general masses that are on the internet that would probably like blow the dunk competition out of the water. You know what 100%. I mean?
100%. Like shit, like turn the lights off and like do it like Paul, like put like a glow in the dark thing on, like something, man. Not like, I mean, the jersey swap is like everyone's done that.
Nah,
already,
it's dumb.
It's done already. Yeah.
Unless you're wearing the jersey as pants, in which case I'm all in.
What? Why do you wear the jersey as pants?
I don't know, Jay, but I'd want to see what would happen.
And the thing is, you could argue, okay, maybe they don't have the ability to do it, but they 100% have the ability to do it. Jordan was saying he saw Aaron Gordon do like a 360 under both of his legs, just like in warm-up. And he's like, I can't even hit that dunk easily. This is Jordan talking, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? And he's doing it in warm-up. So, that's not even pushing his limit, obviously. So just think about what would happen if someone like Aaron Gordon or Zach LaVine were just given 2 weeks to work with a professional dunker. The sky's the limit, right?
100%.
Well, I mean, 2 weeks just to work on it on their own. They could probably come up with something, right? Like, I don't even think they'd need a professional dunker at that point. They could probably.
There's a lot of technique, though. Like if you talk to, it's not just jump high. There's a lot of subtleties to it that, like working on hand speed, working on just the technique. So, all right. Well, next question is, Dave wanted to do it, but we'll have him answer it when he's here next time. What rule change would you make to the NBA to make it better?
One more traveling. You could just like run with the ball all the way and just dunk it. That'd be crazy, eh? No, I'm joking. I do agree with FIBA when it comes to like the rule of you can grab the ball off the rim and just tap it or slam it in, even if it's in the cylinder. I totally agree with that rule. I think that's a good rule that the NBA should adapt as well.
Okay.
It just makes it that much more entertaining to see the big guys do whatever they can inside. Maybe that's another good incentive to keep those big guys down low instead of putting them out on the 3-point line.
Mhm.
So I think that FIBA rule should be adapted to the NBA.
I was thinking like the continuation to that, maybe get rid of all goaltending, but that would just encourage more 3-point shooting, and I don't think that would help. Because 3-point shooting, you're going to get a much higher arc, so you're going to be less likely able to goaltend that away. Unless you put your hand in the basket, then
Yeah,
that's just going to be
that's why
stupid.
they essentially implemented that rule. I forget who it was. It was one of the. It might have been Wilt Chamberlain. Essentially, yeah, he would just like knock shots that were coming right in. He'd just be under the hoop and just knock them out. So it's like, oh, they had to implement goaltending.
I think I don't know. I think kind of like a rule change, but maybe make the sideline wider, like
Yeah,
where that corner three, because everyone,
Oh, okay.
man, these dudes are wearing like size 14 minimum shoe. Like
Mhm.
these guys are like you get like a 7-footer in that court. Maybe just leave it so you get the 7-footers inside. But I mean, like they're 6'8", 6'9" guys. They're like a 16 size 17. Some of them. And then they're like, I mean, their foot's already covering the damn like area between the 3-point line and the corner out of bounds, side out of bounds. So um, I don't know. I think that, and also I think making the season shorter as well. I think I know it's at 82 games right now, but I even knock off shit like 10 games, like make it 72 or make
Mhm.
it 70 games. I
Mhm.
think a lot of guys just get injured, and then we have this whole resting thing now. Like everyone's sitting there, guys, on big games and stuff like that. But I think if you just make the season shorter, because man, you're playing like 100 games per season. It's like every other day. So I mean, just that wear and tear on the body. I mean, they're getting paid millions, but I think to get like more quality ball, I think there's basketball. I think make the season shorter. I'd shorten it to 70 games, to be honest, somewhere around there. But
Right.
yeah, that's probably like some of the changes I'd make.
I do really like that idea of shortening the season. It's like, and this is not going to be a great analogy, but the NFL's got 16 games. Every single game is important, right? Well, 17 next year, but whatever. Every single game is important. In basketball, you got 82 games. Well, it's regular season's not important. It's getting to the playoffs. Well, less games you have in regular season, the more you're going to have to work to actually get to the playoffs for
I
them.
find it just dragging on sometimes, like, especially now that I've been watching it, man. Like sometimes, like, oh, the Raptors are playing. Raptors are playing right now, like the Bulls or something. It's just like, man, you get like these nothing games technically, and it's just like shit, man. I don't want to watch these guys. Like I know we got a taste of the play. We got a championship. It's just like I'm only gonna watch them in the playoffs now. Like, I feel like that 2019 championship. I'm gonna be one of those guys just talking about it for like 20 years now. We're still 2019 champs. Doesn't matter. We're 0-82, but we're still 2019 champs. But no. I think like after the All-Star break, I find it just like, oh man, another fucking 40 games to go. Or whatever it is. But
Mhm. Yeah. Sorry, Stefan, were you gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I'm just thinking of like what rule I would make because
Yeah,
that
I
could
don't.
be interesting.
I don't know how to implement this, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of regulating body on refs and consistency in calls. So especially with games where one team gets double the fouls as the other team, maybe we should just evaluate like what's being called and what's not being called, and just have that reviewed to be like, okay, well these refs are obviously leaning towards one team, that kind of thing. I don't know how to do that though. I'm not sure how that would be implemented, but just making refing more consistent and having accountability, especially for how there are some refs that are particularly bad against certain teams, like they just have that out for a team. That's dumb as shit for me. So
Well, there's also that one ref that's afraid of bounce passes, and keeps teeing up people just for using bounce passes.
really,
uh, Granted, there are bounce passes to the refs, but apparently they're too aggressive for the NBA. So I don't know.
I remember Joey Crawford, man. That guy had it out for us, man. And then there's a guy right now. Can't remember his name, but whenever I hear his name get announced for one of our games, I'm just like, oh my god, here we go. Shit calls incoming, and rightfully so, man. Rightfully so. Yeah. I'm sure if you search it up, like Raptors ref and like ref with Chicago, like it'll pop
Yeah,
up
yeah.
for sure,
I
man.
think I know his face. I just can't remember his name right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I gotta look that one up.
Is it Brown? Something?
Maybe. Hold on, let's see.
And yeah, there's a few of them that are just like really terrible against the Raptors. And you know what's funny? It's like even the announcers sometimes say it. I've heard the announcers say, like there's a certain like they won't name that ref, but they know, like the announcers know that the fans know that there are certain refs that are just really bad against the Raptors.
Yeah, and in those cases, I'm not just saying for the Raptors' sake, but for every team's sake, there should be a record being saying, "Oh, why is this ref always every time this team plays and he or she is reffing, there's always this number of fouls or, at least this many." That kind of thing versus their normal average against the team is this.
Mhm.
Let's look at that and see if there is actual evidence that shows that. And if there is, obviously something needs to be done.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I think the NBA is just afraid to do that because just so it wouldn't because there'd be it would be it would be outrageous like because
Mm-hmm.
it would look like they're fixing games, right? The NBA would be in on it and fixing
Mm-hmm.
games. So they it would be it's a very fine line, right? So I'm not sure the NBA would ever tread that fine line. They would never.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would actually. It would make them accountable, and they don't want that.
Mm-hmm. And just very quickly for flopping, if it's like a blatant flop and they like look at it on the replay, you just get kicked out of the game, just because it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree with that rule. That there's so much, and it's happening more and more now. Like the flopping is just getting outrageous.
Oh,
Like
like
what?
when they're not even touched sometimes and they go flying, or it's like when they have like the ball and they like cut across their body and it looks like they hit the guy in the face and it's just 2 inches from his face.
Yeah,
Get that guy out of the game. He does not have any
Oh,
sportsmanship, so just get him out of here.
yeah. First elbow him in the face, and then get him out of
Yeah, exactly. Give him a real one and then.
here.
Tony
All right.
Brothers, man. Tony
Tony
Brothers,
Brothers.
that's it.
Yes. Oh
There we
shit.
go.
I
Oh
There
my
we
thought it was
go.
god.
Brown. Tony Brothers.
Yeah. Dude, this guy kills
You
us,
man,
man.
like man hates the Toronto Raptors with a passion.
100%, bro. 100%. Tony Brothers, man.
All right. So last topic is we're gonna talk about it's a little bit old, but it was kind of talked about a few weeks ago, and this is kind of like Draymond's screen comment on sitting Andre Drummond, who is on the trade block, and the team is like just sitting him because he's gonna be traded, so we're allowed to just have him rest just in case he doesn't get injured. And Draymond just saying, how is this fair to the player? And they're kind of like respecting them when if it was the inverse and Drummond wanted to get traded and he wasn't really trying, he wasn't really playing, he gets chewed out by the media for being, not a team player. Yeah, he's not being a professional and that kind of thing. So what do you all think kind of on Draymond's comments and that whole idea that okay, it's fine if the ownership wants or the team wants you to sit, but if you don't really feel like playing or you're not comfortable with the situation, you're the bad guy.
Yeah, I agree with him, and I see both sides here of the argument. I know it's a business, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
you don't want it, and it could it having your player play at this point when you already decided that he's going to be traded, and then him getting injured will lose you millions of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
right? It loses you millions of dollars, and that player being untradeable at this point, so he is now sitting on your bench, and now you got no player to play. You're paying a bill for someone that's injured.
Mm-hmm.
I do see that it's a business, and these owners, managers, they're just trying to look out for the team, what's best for the team, and that you have to respect that. It is a business, and but then on the other side, I do see that it is unfair. Yes, it is unfair for the players. It's a double standard where players are not able to speak out because if they do, or they're not playing their 100%, then it goes back to what are you doing? We're paying you. Why don't you just play the damn game properly? Um, I don't know. I'm torn on this. I see both sides,
Mm-hmm.
but I do understand it's a business and they have to take care of their business at the end of the day, not just one player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think it's same here. Same here. Just going off what Jay was saying. Like, I mean, if it was the other way around, like, I mean, if Andre Drummond asked for the trade, then okay, yeah, I guess like then it's like, oh, I definitely sit him because if this dude gets injured, like Jay was saying, like it's millions of dollars. At the end of the day, it is a business. But I mean, if I'm wanting to trade you, I guess there's a kind of like maybe they should just appreciate the honesty. Like we're gonna trade
Mm.
you. Maybe you're not gonna play hard for us. And even if you do play, if you play like shit, it might decrease your trade value. You play like shit on purpose, and then I mean, other teams are gonna see them as like, fuck, this guy's not a team player, or he's purposely playing like shit. I mean, but I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough. Also, 50-50 on that.
I'm actually very similar to both of you guys. It's weird, right? Because I'm coming from this as a person who watches way more football than I do basketball. And from the football side, I get it. The contracts aren't guaranteed, but from the NBA side, the contracts are guaranteed. So from football, it's way more of a double standard than there is in basketball. And it's hard for me to, I guess, sympathize because all his money's guaranteed. Whereas an NFL player in the same scenario could be cut any time and they're not owed any money. So, right? I guess that's the angle I'm coming at this from.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very tough, and I just don't think the media helps with it. Maybe the whole making the guy to be the bad guy when you want to be somewhere else. Uh, I don't know. I think in those situations it's really tricky. Like for instance, the Harden situation this year, right? Obviously, he came into Houston looking like I don't
A
know.
donut?
Yes, exactly. Not like a professional athlete by any stretch of the imagination, not looking like himself. And he obviously wasn't in the mindset to be playing there. And yeah, granted, that looks pretty bad on you that you're at least not, you're still being paid to be there. At least pretend. I guess that would be my big thing. At least kind of look like you kind of want to be there. You can say, okay, I want to be somewhere else, but I'll show up and also do my job, kind of thing.
Like just be professional about it, basically.
Yes,
Kind of just
exactly.
keep like, yeah.
Mhm. So I
At
think if
that,
that,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go.
No, no, just in that situation, then the media doesn't really have a say or can't really skew that, right? And you're not going to be made out to be the bad guy. But I find in most situations, as soon as there's that little sign that that player, well, one that the player wants out, but they're not giving their all, that's when the media just tears into them and just like, oh, they're such a cancerous player and that kind of thing.
Imagine if you if someone did that at your job. Yeah, you're like 2 weeks away from quitting and moving on to another job. You fucking throw in that towel, man. You're like, I'm done, man.
100%.
Imagine the media like just think about it, right? Like we do it all the time when we know we got another job lined up.
Mm.
We're like, you know what? I'm not putting up with the bullshit. I'm just gonna do my job and then just leave. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna give it my 100%. But um, yeah, and since they're professional athletes, it's just that that level of um keeping it more professional
Yes.
than anything else. They're professional basketball players
Mm.
at the end of the day, right? So it's expected that they're professional. Yeah. So I can see that.
And it's different, I think, depending on the competence of the team you're on, because you're going to get way more vitriol if you're on a good team than if you've been on a really bad team for a while. Again, NFL situation. The quarterback for the Houston, what's their names, Gray?
Texans.
Texans. That's the one. I was blanking there. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to play another down for this team. And nobody in the media is vilifying him. But they were for, wow. Names are blanking right now. Harden. They were for Harden.
Yeah.
It's okay, Stefan.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird, right? So it's the same city too, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Houston's just taking huge L's this year, man. But I heard that ownership at the Houston Texans, I heard they're like kind of like sketch and stuff, man. Been hearing and like JJ Watt. Sorry, going off talking about the JJ Watt thing and everything too is just yeah. But
Yeah. So it seemed like the whole team was just kind of ready to implode. So it's a lot less vitriol towards them than there was towards Harden because, well, you keep getting to the Western, like pretty, like decently into the Western Conference, and then you keep losing because you just aren't very good. But, you know, hey, maybe this year will be better. It will be better.
Yeah.
I think the argument there is just, can that system win a championship? Is yet to be seen.
I mean, after so many years, I'm willing to just throw in the towel and say no.
I'm telling you though, that year Phoenix, where what was it when like two guys stood up off the bench?
Yeah.
That was their year to win it. They could
Mhm.
if right that year with Nash. Oh my god, that was killer. I feel like they could have won it that year because the East was weak as all hell. So,
100%.
I mean, isn't that always been the case though? Like,
but
not
it was
always,
like a
but
super
for the last 10
free one,
years.
even freer.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining me again. It was always fun. It's always fun talking ball with you guys. And yeah, I guess everyone, if assuming you're watching, thank you so much for taking your time watching this, and hope you enjoyed our random rants and had a couple laughs with us. Take care, and we'll see you next video.
See
ya.
you guys.
See you guys.